Salve Discipoli, and welcome to week 6 of our distance learning. So if you've been routed here, you are probably a member of 6th grade Latin. Okay, so just to go through what we're going to be doing this week, or what you should be doing, all right, your week assignment checklist. All right, you should be watching this video. Okay, while watching this video, you should be filling out your work packet as usual. Okay, then when you're done with that, you should take pictures and submit the week 6 work packet. Then you're going to take and submit the online week 6 open notes quiz. Okay, in addition to that, this week, the month of April is coming to an end, so you are going to need to hand in your April flashcard calendar. Okay, and that's just please spend your time this week to make sure that you have 100 minutes minimum studied and logged on your flashcard calendar, okay? Because I want you to get full credit for it, and I don't want it to hit your grades pretty hard, all right? And just a reminder, you're going to get your May flashcard calendar, so you should definitely continue to study your vocabulary throughout the month of May, log it, and at the end of May, I'm going to collect the May flashcard calendar. Okay, so that's what we're doing this week. Now let's get on with it. So part A, you are to complete, sorry, let me change the color. You're going to complete this speed test. Okay, directions. Please fill out the speed test below without looking at your notes. It's okay to have some endings missing, but I want to see what endings you know and what endings you need practice on. Okay, so while you're filling this out, pause this video, do what you can, and then when you're ready, hit play and we'll go over the answers together. Okay, so pause the video now. Thank you. And welcome back. So let's go over what your answers should look like. Okay, so we've got our noun endings up here. Let's go through those endings together. All right, please say them aloud with me, and this is when we're just going to say the ending at this particular time. Okay, so I, say it back to me. I, Now let's do the plural. I, arum, is, as, is. Say it back to me. I, arum, is, as, is. Okay. Now second declension masculine. Here we go. Us, I, o, o. Say it back to me. Us, I, o, o. Now let's do the plural. I, orum, is, os, is. Say it back. I, orum, is, os, is. Second declension neuter. I, o, o. Say it back to me, please. I, o, o. Plural. A, orum, is, a, is. Please repeat. A, orum, is, a, is. Third declension. X, is, I, e. Repeat. X, is, I, e. Plural. Es, ibus, es, ibus. Repeat. Es, ibus, es, ibus. Okay? So those are our noun endings, and if at any time you do need to pause the video and check your answers, make sure they're correct, you can do so. But in the meantime, if it is helpful for you, we can sing the noun endings songs. Okay? So if you know them, sing along with me. If not, you'll hear them again. Okay? A, E, A, E, A, M. A, E, A, R, U, M. I, S, A, S, I, S, 2. Now the first declension's through. Now we're on to number 2. U, S, I, O, U, M. O, I, O, R, U, M. I, S, O, S, and I, S, 2. U, M, I, O. It's the neuter second declension. Wah, wah. X-I-S-I-E-M-E, E-S-U-M-I-B, U-S-E-S-I-B, U-S third declension endings. Okay, so that's our noun endings. Song, chant, whatever you want to call it. Alright, ignore the fact that this says adjective endings. That's not what that should say. It should say verb endings, just like this. Okay? Sorry, Charlie. Okay, so these are our verb endings, right? First, we've got the present system. Okay, OST, mus, tis, and nt. All right, imperfect tense, bam, bas, bat, bamus, batis, bant, and bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, bunt in the future. Okay, now we've got our perfect system, I, isti, it, immus, istis, erunt. Okay, so those are all of our endings for now. Let's erase that. Okay, so if you need to pause the screen now and just check your answers, please do so, but I'm going to move on. Alright, so we're going to go through, instead of doing new vocabulary this week, we are going to go through a grammar lesson. Okay, this grammar lesson actually comes from, whoops, not what I wanted. Okay, this comes from chapter 9 of your textbook. Alright, so most of, or some of this stuff is in your book, alright, but you don't need it. Okay, this packet is sufficient enough for now. Okay, and I'll continue to give us these weekly packets. So I'm going to read through now, and as I'm reading, we're going to highlight some, well, I'll just read and we'll talk about it. Okay, so noun review. In the past, we've discussed nouns. In Latin, nouns have gender, number, and case. Okay, now remember, when I ask you to parse a noun, I'm asking you to give me these 3 characteristics for a noun, right? So if I see a noun in a sentence and I say, parse that for me, you're going to give me the noun's gender, number, and case. Okay, you're giving me the characteristics of that noun. I cannot spell today. I am so sorry. There we go. That's correct. My bad. Okay, so moving on. So gender, number, and case. Those are the 3 characteristics. Now, remember that in Latin, nouns are born with a specific gender. Okay, and those 3 genders that are possible are masculine, feminine, or neuter. Alright, so when I'm saying give me the gender of the noun, that's what I mean. Is it masculine, feminine, or neuter? Okay. Also remember that when we talk about number, we're determining whether the noun is singular, as in one, or plural, as in more than one. Okay? So when I'm referring to the noun's number, that's what I'm asking for. All right, now let's talk about case. In Latin, there are 5. Well, technically there are 7, okay, but don't worry about that. All right, so there are 5 cases. We have case in Latin. Why? Because we cannot rely on word order to help us translate. We need case so that we can determine a noun's function or a noun's job in a sentence. And you can tell what case a noun is by looking at its endings. See the speed test for examples. Okay, just as a quick, I'm going to go back here. All right, this is what I mean. This chart here, okay? These noun endings, they're going to tell you exactly what case we're working with here, okay? That's super important. These are the 5 cases. All right, now let's go through and talk about what the case functions are. All right, so in your note packet, please follow along. All right, write down these things. Okay, so the nominative case is used when you need a subject noun. Okay, it can also be used for predicate nominatives. So please write that in the first blank. Okay, and we'll go over what that means again. We'll review it if you're not sure, but don't worry for right now. The genitive case is used to show possession in Latin. The dative case, which we've seen this year, when I gave all those examples of Gordon Ramsay and cooking soufflés and all that, right? Indirect object. Okay. The accusative case is used for direct objects, okay, things being directly affected by the verb, and it's also used for objects of the preposition. Okay, and we'll talk more about that later. All right, and finally, the ablative case. All right, a lot of times the ablative can be used for the object of the preposition, but it's also used for a bunch of miscellaneous things as well. Miscellaneous meaning random, not really random, just more like assorted noun functions that these guys can't do. Okay, so everything else that the nom, gen, date, ac, and at, these four, anything that these can't do, the ablative takes care of it. Okay, it's kind of like a super case. It does a lot of things. All right, and we're going to learn what those things are. If you need more time on the screen, you can pause it. Okay, write it down and then proceed. Okay, we're going to talk about the ablative case now. Okay, so the ablative case, same thing as before. I'm going to read it out loud to you. The ablative case is a tricky case in Latin. Sometimes this case proves to be more difficult to translate. Why? It's because it takes on a variety of meanings. However, the use of the English prepositions by, with, or from will often take care of the more common uses. And we're going to learn about 3 types of ablatives. Okay. This will become more apparent to you, but the thing that you do need to know, okay, kind of a quick and easy trick. Whenever you see a word in the ablative case, as long as you translate it with one of these 3 prepositions, you're probably going to be fine. Okay, that's just a quick trick. If it doesn't make sense, that's okay. We'll figure that out later. All right, but let's go through the 3 types of ablatives now. The first type of ablative is called the ablative of means or instrument. Okay, this construction indicates the thing by or with which something is accomplished. The Romans never used this construction for a person or an animal. Using the phrase by means of is a good way to recognize this construction. Okay, so I've given us 2 Latin examples below. Now let's just go through quickly and let's mark this up. All right? So, first things first, we want to find our verb. And you should do this along with me, please. Okay, your verb is pugnant. Okay, now, the word armis, okay, this word is in the ablative case. Okay, it's ablative, it's plural, okay, and it is neuter. Okay, so I just parsed that for you. I parsed that noun. Okay, now we remember that the ablative case, okay, it can be an object of the preposition or it can be something completely different. All right, so we don't have the subject in our sentence is nt, right? Because we don't have any nominatives, right? Nominatives are used for subject nouns. There's none of those here. So let's take this here. So nt means they. So they pugno pugnare, they fight. Okay, now, this one, armis. Remember what I said before. If you translate it with by, with, or from, that's usually going to be correct. Okay, you'll handle that ablative just fine. Okay, so they fight. Would it make more sense if I said they fight by weapons, they fight with weapons, or they fight from weapons? It would make more sense if I say they fight with weapons. Okay, and that's your translation. All right, now see, in English, we've got 4 words in this sentence. In Latin, you only need 2. Okay, it's very, very efficient that way. Okay, moving forward. Next example. Frumentum caro portavit. So first things first, let's find our verb. Usually it's at the end of the sentence, and there it is, portavit. Okay, now, there's no nominative subject here, but I will tell you that based on these endings, we can figure out what they are. All right, if it ends in am, em, or um, most of the time, it probably will be an accusative. And we know that our accusatives are our direct objects. Let me get rid of that circly thing. Okay, so frumentum here is your direct object. Now, caro, okay, this particular word here, I'll tell you, it's ablative, it's singular, and it's masculine. Okay, coming from carus, cari, meaning cart. Okay, now let's translate this. So T is he, she, or it. Let's just say he. So he portavited, he carried the frumentum, the grain, caro. Now, this is ablative, and as I said before, I'm going to translate it with either by, with, or from, which makes more sense. He carried the grain by the cart. He carried the grain with a cart, or he carried the grain from the cart. Well, if you're carrying grain, you're using it. It's an instrument that you're using to carry it. That's why this is the ablative of means or instrument. So we're going to say he carried the grain. You can do this 2 ways. He carried the grain with a cart. Okay? Or if you want to be even cooler and show me that you know this is an ablative of means, you can say he carried the grain by means of a cart. Okay, now I know that sounds really weird and kind of old-fashioned-y, but that's one very good way that you can translate that, to show me that you know what kind of, you know that A, it's ablative, and you know B, what kind of ablative it is. Okay, because there's like a million bajillion types of ablatives. We're only learning 3 today. Okay, so these are your translations and your markup. Please make sure you have these written down. And if you're ready, we're going to move on to the next kind of ablative. Okay, this is called the ablative of manner. This construction expresses the manner or the attitude with which something was accomplished. When an adjective is included in this construction, a Latin preposition is not needed. Okay, so pretty much what this means is, like, what does the word manner mean? Okay, manner can mean like please and thank you, like manners, right? But it can also mean like the way that you carry yourself. Like the manner of the woman was very regal, right? Meaning she was acting very queen-like and royal. Or the manner of the students was very angry or negative, right? The students looked angry or negative, right? And they were carrying themselves in that manner. Okay, so here we've got two examples that will kind of illustrate to you how this works, this type of ablative, the ablative of manner. All right, so first things first, our verb is oramos. Okay, and magna and gratia are going together. I'm telling you that these two words are both ablative. They're both singular, and they're both feminine. Okay, I've parsed that word for you. Now, let's translate. So there's no subject, so it's got to be, we use our verb to help us out. So mus, we oro orare, we pray. Okay, now, remember our key words for the ablative. We've got by, with, or from. Which one makes sense here? We pray by great gratitude, we pray with great gratitude, or we pray from great gratitude. I think with sounds the best. Okay, so we pray with great gratitude. Okay, now think about that, right? If you're praying with great gratitude, right, you're showing the manner in which you're praying, right? You're being thankful in your praying. All right, that's the manner that you do it in, with, rather. Okay? Next. Find our verb. Okay, it's here. Now I'm telling you that multo and gaudio do go together, in fact, and these are both ablative, singular, and neuter. Okay? All right, now remember, you might be wondering, how does she know it's neuter? Okay, memorize the vocabulary words, and that's why I give you the genders and all of them. Okay? So let's translate this now. Sorry, I didn't highlight that. It's bugging me. Thank you. All right, so klamat. T means he, she, or it, so let's just say he for now. So he, klamat, he shouts. Okay. Multo gaudio. So much gaudio, joy, much joy. So would it make sense if I said he shouts by much joy? He shouts with much joy? Or he shouts from much joy? Again, with is going to sound best here. Okay, he shouts with much joy. All right, and once again, this is an ablative of manner because it's expressing the manner with which our boy here is shouting, right? He's shouting with great joy, with much joy, right? So he's joyful in his shouting. That's his manner. That's his expression. Okay? You can think of it as an attitude, right? Okay? So that's our ablative of manner. All right? So far we've gone over two. The ablative of means or instrument, all right? The thing that you use to accomplish something, right? Like Magistra wrote the really awesome grades by means of a pen. Okay, we've got an ablative of manner. All right? Magistra wrote out the good grades with great happiness, right? It's the attitude with which I'm giving the good grades. Okay, now let's move on to the third kind of ablative. Okay, this is called the ablative of separation. This construction expresses that some person or thing is separated from another. The ablative of separation is commonly used with certain verbs meaning to free, to lack, and to deprive. Okay, so there are certain buzz verbs that will help you to identify that there's an ablative of separation going on here. And in fact, at the beginning of chapter 9, they do give you one. Okay, there's a verb, and I'll write it down here just for your personal knowing. Okay, and that's kareo. carere, carui, cariturum. Okay, and usually they'll tell you it takes the ablative of separation. Okay, and this means to be without, okay, or be deprived of, or to be free from. Okay, so you see how this verb already in its meaning has a degree of separation in it. Okay, so let's go through these examples now, so that you can kind of see a little more what the ablative of separation is trying to do. Okay, so first things first, prohibuit is your verb. Okay, kopias is your direct object because it's accusative. Okay, now opido is your ablative here. Okay, it's ablative, it's singular, and it's neuter. Okay, so let's translate. Prohibuit, so T, it ends in a T, so he kept, or prohibited, we'll say, well, he kept the kopias, the troops. Okay, opido. Would it make more sense? Remember our buzzwords here. We've got by, with, and yikes, why does it do that? Silly rabbit. By, with, or from. Okay, now, what makes more sense here? If I were to say, he kept the troops by the town, kept the troops with the town, or kept the troops from the town? Well, this is an ablative of separation, so there's got to be some degree of separation, so we want to say from the town. Kept the troops from the town. Okay, because we're trying to show that there's a degree of separation between the town and the troops. Okay? Next. Agri frumentis carent, all right? This is your verb, and oh, look at that. Okay, that's that verb here. All right, so we know that we're going to be on the lookout for some ablative because this verb here uses the ablative of separation frequently. Okay, so carent. And frumentis. Okay, actually, hang on one second. So, agri is nominative, so this is your subject noun. All right, which means frumentis is your ablative here. Okay, and this is ablative. It's plural, and it's neuter. Frumentum, frumenti, meaning grain. Okay, so the agri, the fields. Let's translate the fields. Carent, they are lacking. Okay, and they're lacking frumentis, grain. Excuse me. Okay, another way you can translate this to kind of show more of that ablative-y feeling, you could say the fields are... I hate that it does that. Sorry, guys. The fields are free from grain. Okay, and see there's that buzzword. Okay, by, with, or from. We're using from here to give it more of that ablative feeling, right? Use the preposition. Okay, so those are the three types of ablatives. We've got means or instrument, ablative of manner, and the ablative of separation. All right, so let's do some practice now. Okay, so let's write down our three types of ablatives. A, got means or instrument. B, actually, let me write this out for you. I'm sorry. Okay, B is manner, and C is a separation. Okay? So let's go through each and we'll try and determine which one's which. So number 1, with great piety. If somebody does something with great piety, it's describing the manner in which they're doing something, right? So I prayed to God with great piety. Okay, it's a manner. So number 1 is B, ablative of manner. Number 2, from the army. Okay, now, from the army. Does it sound to me like something, doesn't sound like instrument, means or instrument, right? Because then it would be by means of the army. No, it's not that. Okay, and it's not really an emotion or an expression. So we are left with separation. Can you be separated from the army? Yes, that makes sense. Okay, number 3, with great valor. Okay. So that would probably be like with great valor, right? Valor is kind of like I guess you can call it an emotion of some kind, or like a manner or an expression, an attitude. Okay, so this is going to be an ablative of manner again, B. Okay, number 4, by the sword. Okay, is the sword a thing? Yes. Could it be used to accomplish something? Yes. Okay, the assassination was accomplished by the sword, by means of the sword. Okay, this is an ablative of instrument or means, okay? Like you're using the sword to accomplish your end, whatever that end might be. All right? Number 5, from the city. Okay, from kind of indicates some separation there, like there's a separation between the city and something else. Okay, so this is going to be ablative of separation. Number 6, okay, by a secret trapdoor. Okay, is a secret trapdoor a thing? Yes. Okay, so that could be means or instrument. Next, from other enemies. Okay, from is a preposition that kind of indicates some kind of separation. All right, they kept the secret supplies from the enemies, or they saved the princess from other enemies, right? So there's some degree of separation between the two things, the other enemies and whatever else is in the sentence. Okay, number 8, with wooden beams. Okay, wooden beams, those things you build with. Now, is it a material? Is it like something that you would use? Like let's say Magistro went to Rome and built a bridge with wooden beams. Okay, well, I built the bridge using wooden beams, all right? It was an instrument that I used to accomplish the building of said bridge. Okay, so it's an ablative of means or instrument. Okay, and finally, number 9, by a secure route. All right, so let's say, is a secure route a thing? Yes. Okay, so this has to be an ablative of means or instrument. Okay. Now, I will say that if this trying to identify the type of ablative is confusing to you, that's okay. That's totally okay. Because oftentimes you might sit in a Latin class and spend, this is from experience too, like when I was in college, kids would sit at the table and argue for hours, maybe not hours, maybe like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, on what kind of ablative it was. Like, and there would be good arguments for a couple different things, right? So it's sometimes it might be more than one answer. that's possible. Okay, so pretty much what I'm trying to get at here is when you see an ablative, okay, it's sufficient. Just pick one of these, by, with, or from. Okay, these are your key words. One of them will make sense in the context of the sentence. Okay, and if one of them doesn't fit, that's okay. Try another. Okay, but one of these is bound to work. Okay, these are your friends, by, with, or from for the ablative case. Okay, so this is all well and good, knowing which one's which, but if you don't know, that's okay. Just try these out. All right. So moving forward, let's mark up and identify the different types of ablatives below. Okay, this one's a little bit easier because now we have a full sentence as opposed to this part where we were just working with a fragment, right? And when you work with fragments, it's kind of hard to extrapolate or, figure out what the rest of this surrounding context is. Here we have context, all right, a full sentence. So let's go through these and we're going to mark them up, label our English. And when we see an ablative, we're going to highlight it, okay? So remember, before in our examples here, okay, your ablative is one word, but it translates into a phrase. Okay, so opido means from the town, or frumentis means from grain, or here, magna gratia means with great gratitude. Okay, molto gaudio means with much joy. All right, or armis means with weapons. Caro means by means of a cart or with a cart. Sorry. Okay, so it's going to be a little more interesting here to see how English and Latin kind of differ. So the farmer was without a wagon. All right, so first things first, our verb, where is it? It's here, it's was. It's a linking verb. Okay, and who is doing the being here? Who's the sentence about? It's the farmer. So subject, noun, linking verb. Now, without a wagon is a phrase. Okay, this is a type of ablative, all right? You would use the word for a wagon or cart, but make it ablative. And that all has to do with endings. So the farmer was without a wagon. What kind of ablative would that be if he's without a wagon? That sounds like separation. Okay, because the farmer doesn't have one. He's lacking a wagon. Okay, he's deprived of one. Okay, number 2. The troops will fight with arms. All right, so what's our verb here? Our verb is will fight. Okay, and who's doing the fighting? Or who will do the fighting? The troops. Okay, now we've got with arms. This is your ablative here. Okay, with arms. Let's see. But arms as in with weapons, right? So are weapons being used to accomplish the fighting? Yep. Okay, so this is an ablative of means or instrument. Okay, you're using the arms or the weapons as an instrument to fight. Okay, you're using them to fight, right? That's what it means. Okay, number 3. We sing with thanks to God. So first things first, let's find our verb. Okay, our verb is we sing. Okay, and your subject is here too. So subject, noun, verb, we sing with thanks. Okay, that's your ablative. And quick review, to God. Okay, that's a phrase. All right, this is your indirect object. Because remember, your indirect object, your key words are to or for. Okay, here we've got to, so it's your indo, in case you've forgotten about that. It's been a while. It's okay. All right, so we sing with thanks to God. Now, with thanks, what kind of ablative is that? Is that the ablative of means, manner, or separation? I would think manner, because you're singing with thanks, like in the manner of thanksgiving. Okay, so this would probably be an ablative of manner. All right, number 4. God will free men from evil. All right, so first things first, our verb is will free. Okay, and who is doing the freeing? God is doing the freeing. Who is being freed? The men. Okay, now from evil is your ablative here. So let's think about that. If God is freeing men from evil, is it the ablative of means, manner, or separation? I'd say separation, right? Because there's space between men and evil now, thanks to God, right? In this sentence. Okay, number 5. Did the farmer train the horse with a cart? Okay. So our verb is train. Okay. Who is doing the training? The farmer. Okay, and what is being trained? The horse. Okay, now with a cart is your ablative. And is a cart a thing? Is it an instrument with which the farmer trained the horse? Yes, it is. So this is probably an ablative of means or instrument. Okay? Moving on, last question. He will build a temple with great joy. Okay, first things first, what's our verb? Will build is our verb. Your subject is he. Okay, and what's being built? The temple. That's your direct object. Okay, now we've got our phrase here, with great joy. Now, what kind of ablative is that? Well, how is he building the temple? He's building it with great joy. Joyfully. Okay, so this is an ablative of manner. It's the manner in which, or the attitude with which, he is doing the building. Okay, so those were just some English examples of what the ablative case would sound like in English. All right, now next week we're going to work on working with the ablative, but in Latin. Okay, so I wanted just to kind of focus on the English this week. Next week we'll do some more Latin. Okay, but in the meantime, all right, just remember this week you need to do a couple things for me. All right, so we've already watched this YouTube video, and as we were going, you should have filled out the week 4 work packet. I'm sorry, week 6, excuse me. All right, so your job now, you need to submit pictures of the week 6 work packet. Then you need to take and submit the week 6 open notes quiz. Okay, you can use your notes for this one, and you can find the link for that on Google Classroom. All right, finally, the last item, you do need to submit your April flashcard calendar. Okay, make sure that you spend the rest of this week catching up. If you haven't studied 100 minutes, please make sure that you do so by the end of the week. All right, hand this in. All of this stuff is going to be due on Friday, May 1st. Okay, so please get that done. And just be aware, you should continue to study your flashcards, okay, and your vocabulary throughout the month of May. All right, and I'll keep reminding you, but make sure that you stay on top of that. All right, so I hope you guys are doing well. If you have any questions, as always, my email inbox is open, and I'm around. Hope you guys have a great week. Walete Discipoli.